Kyle here, Odys Mentor, and this is my video blueprint for flopstarter.com. So as you can see, Flopstarter, domain related to, anything related to finance, financing, money, personal finance. Basically, it was actually, they don't have a screenshot here for the Wayback, but as you can see, I put it in the Wayback. It was actually a website dedicated to bad ideas for startups, basically. So you can scroll through here, some pretty hilarious stuff. Reverse Viagra, I thought that was quite entertaining. Who wants that? But basically, so something related to startups. Now, just because this was an idea for bad startups doesn't mean that you have to stick with that necessarily. It's just a nice niche on startups in general or the whole business theme. You could even have, the trade or the little catch line or catchphrase, like make sure your startup doesn't flop, something along those lines, right? Just to kind of make it kind of switch the meaning there. But moving on from there, so why did I pick this domain? Number one, business domains, especially at DR34. This is DR34, very strong domain. Great backlink profile. There's a lot of money in business. Obviously, there's a lot of great affiliate programs. So it's definitely it's a bigger money niche, especially if you're looking at the affiliate play or even lead gen. So that was why I focused on this one going through there. So if I look at the backlink profile, just to kind of go through there, you see we have Vice.com, DR91, great backlink, obviously, Vice.com, lots of traffic. So WeTransfer.com, DR91. We have Product Hunt, DR91. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of really relevant links and very high authority as well. DR90 here, we have smashingmagazine.com, smartcompany.com.au, DR80 as well. So, and very, very on target, all related to startups, business, that sort of stuff, very niche relevant, along with high authority. So I really do like that about this niche. So, and again, powerful DR34 is a huge head start. Now, moving on to the community. So whenever I'm doing research on a particular niche site or a particular website, anything really, any kind of industry, I always like to check out the communities. Like what kind of communities are there? What are they talking about? What are their problems? So I've linked here to a list of all the top subreddits for entrepreneurs that was recommended by Startup Savant, which actually could potentially be a competitor later down the road, but you can kind of see there. So the main one that I would say is our entrepreneurship. And as you can see, there's 2.3 million members. So obviously there's quite a strong community, which means that there's going to be a lot of opportunity to solve their problems, basically. So you can kind of dig through there and get some ideas of the direction of the niche. Now, in terms of competitors, I didn't add so many competitors here because the startup is very general, and I would talk about that a little bit in terms of monetization. I'll get to that, but basically I just added Startup Savant here, so it's quite a bit higher DR. There's more competition, obviously, in the business niche. This one here is DR65, 133,000 traffic. Although the traffic is going to be less, I would say for a lot of the business domains, the earning potential is much higher. So the revenue per visitor should be much higher as well. So I don't like to look so much on traffic for business sites. Just because the leads are so valuable. And even just from ads themselves, like the RPM is generally much higher as well. I wouldn't focus so much on ads here, but just to kind of give you some idea, right? It's all relative to the niche. So I'll kind of group these, the actual monetization and how I would approach the content plan. These are kind of go side by side. So in terms of actually the content plan, I would really spend additional time going through the entrepreneurship, like the communities, the blogs, and really try to niche down on a specific industry or a specific topic or something along those lines, like figure out what their problems are. So, and again, I have this open on Ahrefs right here if you have a look. So I just have the Reddit thread for entrepreneurship open, and you can see some ideas that you might have. So Reddit's ranking on page 1, basically. Just this is only as a guide to see like what are people asking, a kind of an easy way without scrolling through Reddit, just seeing like what Reddit is ranking for, what people are asking. So, how does Upside Down make their money? These sorts of things. I would definitely try to drill down. If you notice some kind of overlap on how does this make money, or what can I do with this? Just really try to get to know the niche there. And then that's going to work into the content plan, because you're basically looking at like, what are the issues or what are these people trying to look, and then you can potentially cross-sell them. So what an example here, right, just in real life situation, is everybody that's looking to start a business, they're probably going to want to start an they're going to need an LLC, right? So this kind of goes back here as well, so the monetization as well as an example. So if you notice that there's many questions on how to start specific types of businesses, or just how to start a business in general after doing some research, then what you can do is, instead of targeting the typical affiliate keyword, which is like best business or this review or something like this, if it's a problem that everybody's having, then you could offer that as a solution. So basically, like, oh, if you want to get started with setting up a construction business today, we recommend you check out Inkfile for your LLC, right? So just have an example, and you can see here inkfile.com, and actually it's $100 per lead that you can convert, so it's quite high. On top of that, what I would do, so I would spend some time and really think hard about what kind of products I could offer. Another way to do that as well is just to go into popular networks like ShareSell, Commission Junction, Impact. There's going to be a lot more affiliate networks within the business niche, but I'm just going to use this one as an example. So you can sign up for free to ShareSell. So it's been a while actually since I've been into shares, so I haven't used them for a while. But anyways, it's a free version essentially, right? Free, you can sign up, but just go in here and see what are the programs available around specific niches. So again, here, this is related to setting up a business. So people that are interested in startups, maybe they need to set up their business, and you can see here it's $100 per sale, another one $100 per sale, and the earnings per click, I believe this is the 7-day average. I think that's how this is calculated. Is quite high. So the cost per lead is quite high here. So I would definitely focus on that. Like, what questions, ask yourself, what questions are these people having? What are their pain points? And then promoting the particular service. So if a startup, for example, is having a problem organizing their team or something like this, or they need a specific software, software and all these types of things generally have high affiliate commissions. So I would definitely, spend some time there. Just keep in mind that it is more competitive, so you have to get more creative with the keyword research. You can't target the really common terms, I would say, because even though you are starting off with a nice DR34 with great backlinks, it's not going to be enough when you're competing against people that have DR70, DR80, and so on. So just keep that in mind. That's why I think niching down is super important and really speaking to the audience. So that's kind of how I approach the content plan. I wouldn't really set any specific goals for total amount of articles like I generally do. Obviously, if you get the more content you can do, the better. But it's really about focusing. In this, I think it's more of like a precision play. So like being very, very precise. And what I would say is, even if the traffic is much less when you're doing your keyword research, even if you think, oh, this volume's only 20 or so on, just consider that the earnings per visitor is going to be much higher. So that's how I would kind of pinpoint that. So just make sure everything's really targeted. And then if you see something is working really well, obviously expand on that, do more content, and so on. So I do have still here ads. I would still, be careful with the ads. Don't let it distract too much from the visitors, especially if they're high quality, they're $100 per lead. I wouldn't be so aggressive with something like a Zoic. Maybe dial that down a little bit. But here, I think the real play is to be very precise in your content, very precise in your approach, very precise in your marketing, and then target it that way. So, but additionally from that, so other than the high paying affiliates, which you'll be able to find in ShareSale and all these kinds of different softwares. And again, this is just one program, one example of many that you would have to do some additional research in, but I'm just giving you some ideas on the actual opportunity of the dollar amount per sale, which I think is often overlooked. Like, people, when they think about affiliate, they're just looking at Amazon, but that's not the best solution, basically. So that's one example. Another example would be lead gen. So if for example, people that are, it can be higher competition, right, as a caveat, but if you know that people are searching for venture capital in a specific city, right, you could then have your list of vetted professionals that you would recommend in that specific city. So it could be, best venture capital firms, whatever city. Obviously, the bigger city is going to be more competitive, but there might be specific questions, or best business banks, or best something like this in specific cities or specific areas. And then there's the opportunity for lead gen, right? So another thing which is mentioned on Odys Global here is sponsored content. Do not sleep on sponsored content. Like in the business niche, especially, it's super competitive. So you could probably make, I wouldn't be surprised if you could make job replacement income just by putting up some info articles, low competition, getting some traffic to the site, and then just selling placements. So selling sponsored content, selling, product reviews, that sort of stuff, like legitimate product reviews, that sort of thing, just selling the placements themselves and not necessarily relying just on the affiliate program. If you can do all of them, that's great. But definitely, I know people are paying a lot for basically links. They want backlinks from business-related websites. So that's definitely a great opportunity. And it's a little bit less reliant on Google as long as your site has traffic and Ahrefs. That's what a lot of times what people that are building links are looking for. So just important to keep in mind there. It's kind of a nice little side income. I do have some sites that are doing some sponsored content as well, and it's don't sleep on it, right? I mean, it's worst case you can sell links on it and make some pretty good money, right? So especially with the lower price here for a business domain only being $3,500, I think it's a great investment with the backlink profile and so on. Now, are there any drawbacks? Yes, absolutely, there are drawbacks. So business marketing in general, as I've already covered, it's much more competitive. So you definitely, it's basically it's not ideal for a first time site buyer. If you have no experience, if you've never set up a website before, this would not be like a good. This might not be, I should say, the best site for you, just because you're going to have to. It's a little bit more competitive, right? And another reason here is it's YMYL. So it's your money, your life. So Google is going to be a little bit more strict with you. You're going to have like real experience, at least be able to have experience on the website. You might not have to have experience, but you're going to have to, in Google's eyes, have to showcase your experience, your expertise. You're going to have to make sure that you dot all your I's and cross all your T's in terms of buyer, the persona on the website. You really have to build out the EEAT. So, and if you don't know what that is, you can do some additional research, just Google that. But that's pretty much it for Flop Starter. Let me know if you have any additional questions on this. I'd be more than happy to set up a call with you today, and we can go into any of the elements which I covered here. And I'd be more than happy to also cover any other domains that you might have interest in. So book a call today, and we can chat more. Thanks a lot for your time. Cheers.